So hi there and welcome to my channel, Life with Lois. Lovely to see you and glad you could join me today. Now today I'm going to be bringing you a video and it's really about why I quit my 9 to 5 and started my property business. So just to give you a little bit about my background, I am a mother of 2 and I worked in a square mile of the city. I started off initially as a payroll assistant, worked my way up to a payroll manager, and then became a taxation accountant. And I led a team of taxation specialists for some large corporate investment companies and also for some major banks in the city. So that's what I did for many years, and it did have its challenges. I mean, the first challenge was that, well, for me, it was a personal challenge, was that I'm a woman. And to be a woman and working your way up in the corporate field, you know, many years ago was very difficult. And further to that, I'm a black woman. That was unusual to see a black woman sitting at a corporate table, you know, amongst her peers. And it was challenging, it had its challenges, but I didn't allow that to stop me, because at the end of the day, I wanted to be an accountant. I was working my way towards being an accountant and I wasn't going to let it hinder me. I've always had a vision and a dream to become, you know, invested in property. I always had a passion for property. I'd drive along the roads, I'd look at the properties in my neighbourhood. Anytime I drive somewhere, I'm more interested in what the property looks like, the sizes, dimensions, and that's what I loved. I mean, I bought my first house at the age of 21, which I was so proud of to do that at such a young age. But it's because I've always grown up with a passion. My mother was always interested in property, always encouraged me to buy my property. We weren't encouraged to be entrepreneurs, you know, many years back. It was always a case of getting your job, getting your 9 to 5. I mean, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but it's a case of that's what I thought I had to do. I thought I had to get a 9 to 5. I thought that was the only thing to do. So I got my 9 to 5. I moved up in my career path. I kept fighting through the challenges, and I finally thought, yes, I'm happy where I am. But the reality of the job are 2 different things. The job was stressful, and also you were always answering to somebody else. The reality of the job did not pan out to what I thought it was going to be. It was a case of that, you know, being in charge of a large team, I was the one that carried the weight. I was the one that felt the weight. I was the one that was responsible to make sure that everybody in my team were performing, were delivering, and that as a unit we were delivering, and we had deadlines to meet. It was a very stressful job. I couldn't be happy with my children. I was missing out on their bedtimes. By the time I came home, traveling through the city, it was an absolute nightmare. Now, anyone who has commuted in the city of London, especially in a square mile of the city, you will know, coming home of an evening, if anything happened on the trains, you were stuck. There's nothing you could do. So you had the travelling, the cost of travelling to and from London was very expensive. I just found the whole thing stressful, not having holidays. And when I did have a holiday, I found that I couldn't enjoy the holiday, because as the holiday was beginning to wind up, I'm worrying about going back to work. I'm worrying about the deadlines. I'm worrying about what was going to come next. I love Christmas. I absolutely adore Christmas. You know, it's, as they say, the most wonderful time of the year, and everything that Christmas stands for. You know, I love that. But I couldn't enjoy it with my children, because every year at Christmas, as I took my time off to spend with my family, I would get sick. I don't know if it was the pressure of the work or the job, but every year this began to be a pattern. I would have chest infections, all kind of illness, because the job was very pressurizing. Even when I was sick, I wasn't even allowed to be sick in peace. I felt like, you know, I couldn't be home, I couldn't stay home. So I would have an illness, maybe a chest infection, and have to come right back in with that illness. I wasn't allowed to recover, you know, as I should have been able to recover. Even though you may have been covered by a sick note, You had to deliver, you had to come in, especially if you are the head of a team. And it almost felt like you were under duress, you felt pressurized. It came to the point where I almost began to feel drained by the job. I began to feel, emotional about the job. Can you imagine going into work every day and you are actually emotional to the point where you felt like it was sucking the life out of you? Every day you walked into that office, you felt like this wasn't my purpose. Yes, I wanted that job. Yes, I wanted to be, an accountant. Yes, I got the job. But the reality of what the job was and what it entailed were two different things. I didn't have a life. It didn't feel like a life. You're earning X amount of money, but what joy do you have from it? There was no joy. Yes, I had to keep the job because I had to put food on the table. I had to keep a roof over my head. And then eventually, when you really think about it, your dream then becomes a back burner because life gets in the way. You have to support, your family. You've got a mortgage. You've probably got other payments that are coming out of your bank. Those direct debits are not going to wait for you. You've got to earn that money and you've got to work. How could I manage and motivate a team when I wasn't even motivated myself? There was just nothing left at the end of the day. There was nothing left to give because I was giving all my time to these high corporate firms. And what was I building for my future? I'm building for somebody else, but what was I building for me? These thoughts went through my head all the time, and I knew that this is not the way I wanted to continue to live. There had to be more. What made me really look at the whole situation is when my mum got ill, it made me look at things a little bit differently. Enough was enough. I said, nope, I wanted out. I wanted out of this lifestyle. I wanted out of this job, and I just wanted my life back. I decided to ask my company for redundancy. And guess what they said? No. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't stay here, but yet still the redundancy package that I know that my company gets, because remember, I worked in the taxation area, the payroll, I saw the figures and I knew what I was entitled to if I got redundancy and what this could do in terms of my future. So I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. It did eventually happen when they were going through a merger, and that's the opportunity they offered me, redundancy. Now, they said to me I can't have compulsory, but yet still, because I've been there for many years, they could merge two jobs together, and if I wanted it, I had first refusal. And I snapped their hands off because I knew what I was going to get, because I knew they were also doing away with the redundancy package after that. So I weren't going to hang around. I took my redundancy, and I'm telling you, the day I got that redundancy letter, I felt like a weight was lifted. But here now was the big wide world open to me. What do I do? But funnily enough, during that time, I was actually headhunted to run a small charity. It was only a 6-month project, and it's all part and linked into my church. And because, with my faith, we believe in serving, we believe in giving back to others. This seemed the perfect opportunity for me to do this because I was in between roles. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm happy to do it. Had a little bit of money tucked away in terms of my redundancy, so I was able to run this food bank. Well, this was a whole new experience. I had never started any type of business from scratch, from a plan, from a vision. And over the years, I got more and more involved and realised that, when we originally opened the food bank, they wasn't well known to the public. We were probably one of the first in our borough to open a food bank across London. It became more of a demand for the community, and it became a big mechanical machine to the point where I've taken on now, we've got 30 volunteers that still run the food bank. It's still running today, and I'm still heavily involved in managing that. But it actually taught me how to run a business. And I thought, hold on, if I can do this, why can't I do it for myself? It gave me confidence that I could run my own business. So there is a saying, that a dream deferred is not a dream denied. Because my dream was on the back burner because life got in the way. Raising my children, putting them first, put myself behind my children and make sure they were okay. Making sure we had a roof over our head. My dream got deferred. But here was the opportunity and it wasn't denied. Well, at this point now, I've got the confidence, and because I believe in God, I had Godfidence. And that's something that my pastor says all the time. I had Godfidence. I had confidence that I could run my own business. Where do I start? So what I had to do is really get around like-minded people, start going to network meetings, find out what different strategy could I get involved in, and what would really suit me. I know I wanted to work for myself, but I had no idea about starting a business. I had no idea about branding. I had no idea about business bank accounts, but I had to learn and I got myself trained. I made sure that I went with a very good training company, and I also got myself a mentor, which then guided me along the way of how to actually run a successful business. Now, don't think this happened overnight. It doesn't. It takes time to train, because the property market is a big world, and it's about finding your niche, your area, your speciality. And what I decided to get involved in was HMOs. So HMOs are like large houses with contained units of rooms. Here came the birth of My Cozy Homes. And we are a property management company based in the middle of South East London. We manage HMOs and we take care of property investments as well. So here was My Cozy Homes birthed. And don't get me wrong, when you're bringing your own business, the work is hard, the work hours are long, your ethic has to be strong, your motivation has to be on point, your mindset has to be on point. But at the end of the day, you know why you're doing it. You're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your family, and you're doing it so that you have a legacy. So that's my reason why I decided to start My Cozy Homes. And here we are now, based in South East London. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's worth the journey, and we're still growing and we're still getting bigger. And at the end of the day, I'm doing this for my family. So there is a legacy to our future, and also we can actually employ others so that we can continue to have the cycle of employment and giving others the opportunity that maybe we didn't have initially in the first place. So that's how I went from the 9-to-5 to starting my own business. And it's been a journey, guys, but you know, at the end of the day, if you've got that passion, if you've got that belief in yourself, then you can do it. You can start your own business. And at the end of the day, it's all about taking those steps to start your own business. So guys, I hope my story was helpful. I hope it was motivational to you. And I hope there's things in there that you can learn, that, you know, even though you may have obstacles or there may be things that look like an uphill battle, you will get through them. If you can't go over, you go around it. If you can't go around it, you go under it. But either way, you get through. You break down those barriers, you keep pushing through, and you find a way so that you can live your life to the fullest. As I always say, remember, it's your life. You know, you have to own it at the end of the day. So guys, don't forget to click and subscribe. Don't forget to like the video, and also turn on your button so that every time a video is released, you'll be notified. So switch on the notifications button, and also don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. And as I say, I'll be bringing you more business tips and tricks with Lois in the very near future. So guys, have a great weekend. Whatever you're doing, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.